Hello everyone, my name is Dogly, and I recently summoned for C6 Mika on multiple accounts, and I finally had a chance to test him out. By now, the Genshin community has already reached the verdict that C0 Mika really isn't that great. However, how does C6 fare? I'll try to answer that question in this video. I'll be showcasing C6 Mika with both Eula and Razor on different accounts, so sometimes the gear will change a little bit, but I'll show you all of that so you guys are well aware of what my Mika is doing. This is not really a full guide video, but super quickly I do want to say Mika's best in slot weapon for most players is going to be the Favonius Lance, and his best in slot artifact will be 4-piece Noblesse Oblige. In terms of talent priority, leveling up his skill first is going to be your biggest priority, and then leveling up his burst for some additional healing can be helpful as well. With that out of the way, I'm going to say that my upcoming showcases are really going to be comparing C6 Mika to Bennett, because I really think that these are going to be your go-to comparisons that a lot of players are going to be making. So the question is, does C6 Mika compete with Bennett when it comes to a slot on physical teams, or is Bennett just better? For my first showcase here, I'll be using a Eula team. Here are just really quickly my Eula stats. She's using R3 Serpent Spine. Bennett on this team is going to be using Alley Flash on this account, and Crimson Witch, so he is not using Noblesse, excuse me. Yaimiko is going to be for Superconduct support, and here is Mika. Ignore the fact that I'm using Staff of Homa, I'm just using it because I can. In general, Mika should be between 160 and 180 energy recharge at C6, I would say. So let's see how Mika performs. Gonna just get some energy really quick. And now setting up Superconduct and Mika's time. Alright there, so about 296,000 damage from Eula's burst with Mika support. As you can see here though, I still have quite a ways away on Masonori. So I am testing against single target Masonori just because it's easier, and because realistically a lot of your time Mika's multi-target isn't going to come into play very much. So now let's take a look and see how Bennett performs in the same exact role. So again, this is C4 Bennett on this account, I believe. So C4 Bennett got almost 300k, so a little tiny bit more, but you know, basically Mika is pretty competitive, doing a very similar job. So if your Bennett's on another team, Mika can be a decent replacement. I do want to stress though again that my Bennett was not running Noblesse, so if Bennett was running Noblesse, then you could imagine that Eula's damage would have been even higher. But last up here, I want to actually test out Bennett and Mika working together, because I think there's potential for them to actually fit together in the same team, and then it doesn't become a question of, is Mika better than Bennett, and it becomes a question of, is it worth using them together? And there we saw that 381,000, so big bump from using just Bennett alone. So I actually think there is a decent argument for using Mika with Bennett. Sometimes it'll actually eat up a valuable team slot, but if you're going for a just pure nuke showcase, it can actually be worthwhile. Alright, up next here, I'm going to be using a Razor team, so this will have Shenhe, which has Constellation 2 unlocked, which just basically means a longer burst time for more superconducts. C5 Bennett here, Bennett again on Crimson Witch, this time on Aquila Favonius, so Bennett's burst will be a little bit stronger with the attack transfer. And again, C6 Mika on Noblesse. Here's my Razor really quick. Razor is using Song of Broken Pines. My Razor's stats could definitely be improved, but you know, Song of Broken Pines definitely can carry him a long ways as well. So first up, let's see how Mika performs as a buffer for Razor. Here I'm also going to be timing it because in addition to just looking at max damage here, which was nearly 36,000, I'm also just timing the entire event and seeing how long it takes to get Masonry out. So we're nearing the end here, let's see. So around 30 seconds. And now we're going to do the same test with Bennett instead. Alright, so 40k, so already a little bit more damage than Mika. Not a ton more, but definitely an upgrade. Seeing that 40k from Razor. And then lastly, let's test them together again and see how well Mika plus Razor work. Alright, 54k. So that was my fastest clear time with the team, which was 17 seconds, but I did have another run where I got slightly higher damage, so I'll just show that here, 57,000. And right here is a little chart of my findings. So C6 Mika does underperform even a C4 Bennett. And I think in some ways that's a little bit expected just because Bennett is so broken, but in many other ways it's really disappointing because Mika's supposed to be a great physical support and really struggles keeping up. I will say though that I actually am impressed with how well Bennett and Mika can work together. The unfortunate thing though is just that it takes up so many team slots to use them together. At this time, I really think that the only time you should be using Mika on a team at all is one, if you just really like him as a character. Two, if you're using him with Bennett, because at that point then Mika can be the second best support in some cases. In that respect, sometimes even competes with Yunjin though, so be careful. Third is if you're using Bennett on your other team in the Abyss and you still need somebody to buff your physical team if you really want to use a physical team. And lastly, if you C6'd your Bennett and your Bennett isn't working with your physical team anymore because he's making them pyro instead. So yeah, I think all of these use case scenarios do show that Mika can be useful. He's not a totally dud character. He's not like Dea or anything. Sorry all you Dea mains out there. But he does have some real problems as well. Comment down below and let me know how you've been enjoying Mika, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.